It's time once again to go racing.
It does not get any better than this.
The pressure is really on now.
Yes, it's pole position. Lights out and we're racing in PSGL.
The first lap has been absolute chaos.
What an overtake! Oh no!
I've never seen anything like it.
Side by side again. This will be settled right at the end. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the PSGL Season 30, round number 6 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria for PCF2. My name's King Kodiak. I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the box for the first time in my commentary career and the lady in charge of the ship for the commentary side here at PSGL. It is the lovely, the wonderful, it's Jess!
Hello, Chris. Hello, everybody. I'm actually very excited for this one, Austria. It's always a good track in PSGL history, and we had a good race last night, actually, in the F1 division as well. Good final few laps as well, so should be a good one. I've came from the PS side as well. My first commentary this season on the PC side, so looking forward to seeing what this tier has to offer.
Well, if anything to be judged from previous races in this tier, we are in for a good night. 16 drivers join us. A few people caught up in challenges tonight, so good luck to them as well. Let's have a look at who we have got on board. In the Aston Martins, it's Carter Lundy and Mr. Villacampa. Oscar Villacampa returns to us. I'm just letting somebody through. Luke Smith in the Alpine out there on medium tyres. A lot of people coming out quite early in the session this time. We had quite a few thrills and spills just in qualifying last night for PSF1. Simon Perny, the Frenchman, yet to leave the pit lane. He had a disastrous race yesterday with the F1 crew. Jack Laverty, his race didn't go very well either. In the Haas, just starting his first run. Joost Noordijk was very much involved in battle, even led for a while. In the Mercedes, he hasn't left the pit lane as yet. Norbert Jakob, why am I tripping over his name all of a sudden? In the Ferrari, where is he? Just trying to click on his name. He's just set a time, 1:03.746. There he is. Oh, and that's a Williams, one of our stand-ins, Vadim Zvetkov. Hopefully I'm saying that right. In a very, very wayward Williams, as it was saying. Joost Noordijk has... now, does he have a quali ban? Because I know there were some penalties, I believe. Miss Jess, could you double-check if Joost is on a quali ban?
Yes, I believe so. I'll need to double-check. Yes, he did. He fell in to get out of Norbert Jakob's way in time during qualifying last week. There was no impeding, so to speak, but it was too dangerous to go unpunished. So Joost Noordijk will be starting at the back of the grid unless people behind him invalidate, which is unlikely to happen. And I don't think there's any other qualifying bans. It is just Joost. Pretty sure
it is just Joost. Thank you for that, Jess. We have Duncan Hofland in the second Mercedes. He's come out to play on... he's invalidated his first run on the soft tyres. He's having another go. Another one of our reserves in the Red Bull, it's Danny. Not sure of your surname, but we'll refer to you as Danny nonetheless. Championship leader Thomas Ronhaar in the McLaren. He is out there doing his thing as Andre Terrebukin jumps up into second with a 1:03.5 in the Alpine with medium tyres on the board. The third reserve in at the moment. I think we should have had 4 as Luke Smith has. Luke Smith's retired from this session. He's binned it. Oh no, he's actually had an incident. There he is. He's had an incident on the exit of Schlossgold, and he has had an... Oh dear. So he's brought his own session to an end, and Zvetkov has left the session. So he's had a bit of a problem. Yeah, so next of the reserves is Manolo Villa. as Thomas Ronhard jumps to the top of the tree with a 1030. In the AlphaTauri is Manolo, so we'll see what he can do. Ruben Pedreño, involved in many battles yesterday, is in the second McLaren, and Tom Martinez is the 16th runner in the session as Zvetkov returns to us. Right, Jess, what are your thoughts towards this particular circuit? Is it yay or a nay from commentary, from driving? What are your thoughts?
As a driver, I absolutely hate it. As a commentator, it's just, as I was saying at the beginning, it has so much action, it is high speed, it is the closest qualifying laps that we've ever seen in PSGL as well in terms of gaps, I would say. I think it will only take a small margin for these drivers to get into the top 10, and they may even be outside the top 10 if they just make the small mistakes. And don't forget, these are the drivers that are looking to be in PCF1 in the future, maybe challenges if they haven't already. So we're actually going to see what these drivers are made of here. I think we'll see the pecking order here as well. And if it's dry, shortest lap on the calendar as well, apart from obviously Zandvoort as well, it's quite short lap as well, but Austria, one of the shortest. And I think definitely one of the more famous incidents in recent memory, Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon exit turn 4. They both collided, and we know how that ended up, didn't it?
Yes, the Orange Army was certainly out in force for a certain world champion. So Verstappen is usually fairly popular in these parts. Speaking of orange, we are now looking at Pedreño in the McLaren, working his way past Roush and down the hill towards Worth. I think it's turn 7 and 8 if I remember correctly, but the map I have has names rather than numbers. What's his first time going to be? What can the Spaniard do? Into Rint, down towards Red Bull Mobile. There's another time jumped onto the board. Pironi is up into second, but that's not his time. And Pedreño makes it a McLaren 1-2 at the moment with a 103.127. Now, we did see some 102s towards the tail end of the qualifying yesterday. So now generally the F2 guys can get in very close, almost touching distance of the top F1 guys. So very much looking forward to how we do in this quali session.
Yes, indeed. I think we've got a few people that'll be going into the pits very shortly. Thomas Ronhard was a driver that did very well yesterday. Came so close to winning a race last night. So he's definitely one of the favourites to win this race today. Obviously, Ruben Pedreño, like you said, was involved in many battles as well. But we can't count out the likes of, obviously, I think Duncan Offland usually does quite well on this track as well from past experience on the F1 games on the PlayStation side, because he was a PlayStation man before he moved over to PC. He actually took part in the challenges last night on the PlayStation. He actually won Zandvoort last night as well, so well done to him. And Joost won, I can't remember what the race was before, but he won the first race anyway, so they're used to winning. But obviously Joost has got to do it all from the back of the grid now, so he's got a lot of work to do. We've also got Jack as well, who I believe raced here last night as well. He's got something to prove from yesterday as he's started his lap, making his way up towards turn 3. Some people call it turn 2. I like to call it turn 3. It is turn 3 on the map there as well. DRS wide open as well. Usually people tend to get some overtakes in towards turn 4 ideally, so some people may want to not get the overtake done into turn 3 because otherwise they'll have no DRS. Past turn 5, heading in towards turn 6. If you're very brave, you could get a move done there as well, but probably not as they head towards turn 7 now. Usually we see a few spinners there from recent memory, both in real life and in the league racing scene, as I tend to find out from my experience racing in Austria in the dry. Heading towards turn 9 and 10, people have been trying to avoid the track limits because the stewards are keeping an eye on it. What could Jack Laverty do? P2! That is a decent lap from the Haas driver, and it does help that he had a bit of experience in the F1 tier yesterday. Not that far behind Thomas Ronhard, who's currently sitting on top of the timing sheet. He's also on the lap, and he was 2 100ths quicker than his set to 1 best at the moment. Nope, he's not. I think he's backed off a little bit, so I'm guessing he wasn't happy with that lap.
Look at that. 3 drivers chasing Ronha within a tenth of a second. Now, the lap is so short that you do expect the gaps to be closer, but yet still, I am still very, very surprised that the gaps are as close as they are, as we've just seen Jack Lamberty run over Luke Smith's still stationary wheel in the middle of the track, or at least on my screen. But yeah, Jack didn't have a particularly good run yesterday, so he's certainly setting himself up for a much better run this time out. Pedreño is back out there, with the yellow flags are for people just giving themselves that little bit of a gap. I'm surprised that we're seeing so many people out all doing laps and very few of them on the medium tyres. Usually there's that, you get that quiet period of people doing their cycle laps and then coming in. Although Q2 yesterday was quite amusing because it was dry, or started dry-ish and got wet very quickly, so everybody flooded out of the pits at once. That was quite something to see. The entire field all mule training out of the pit. But just 8 tenths covers the top to bottom. Tom Martinez in the Red Bull is the tail end of the field at the moment. Of course, Luke Smith and Joost Noordijk not able to do anything about their position. That wheel is still there. Just not wanting to shift anywhere as Martinez stays out of Pedreño's way. Let's follow the Spaniard through the remainder of his laps. Also, it's a bit of a monumentous occasion for me in the commentary box with the lovely Jess, as I refer to her as the captain of the ship of the commentary. As Pedreño's invalidated into turn 9 through Rint. Yeah, so many laps have gone astray there. But when I was head commentator in other parts, I was Jess's boss, and now tables are turned, so she gets to give me just as much grief as I gave her back then.
It's come full circle, hasn't it? It was 2018 since I first started joining Lee Racing in commentary. I don't know how he took me on, because I look back at my commentaries in the 5 first year especially, and I cringe at them as anything. But another topic for another day. We still got more people on laps, actually, at the moment in time. We got, I think, Tom Martinez, who was on a lap, and we've got Vadim Svedkov. I can't pronounce his name to save his life, so if I get it wrong...
That's as close as I'm going to get as well, so apologies if we're both getting it wrong, but that's as close as we're ever going to get.
Yeah, so we'll call him that, and if we get it wrong, just tell me in the F2 chat after the stream. But Tom Martinez then, he heads past turn 8, now heading towards turn 9. Let's see if he does not invalidate his run then. He's got to try and gain as much time as he can.
Oh, Pedreño! Nice effort there. Sorry to cut over you there, Jess.
It's fine.
It's fine. I just clocked so that Pedreño is 4,000th off the back of Ronha as Martinez. A 103.314 on the board, as I think it was Jakob. Yes, Norbert Jakob has jumped up to 7th with a 103.169, 2,000ths behind Vadim Svedkov, who I think has just completed a lap himself, has he? Yes, not long completed a lap himself, the newcomer into F2. In the Williams is continuing. My God, that is incredibly close. So put it this way, if I just change the... No, wrong one. If I change that one. So in the time it takes the average person to blink, 5 cars have gone past you. The top 5 are... it takes generally a tenth of a second to blink. So that's everyone from Ronha to Lundy would have already gone past you by that point. That's how close they are. Not even 2 tenths separates the top 10.
That's how close it is. Usually they analyse these kind of laps in F1 esports where they compare a Q2 lap to a Q3 lap, or they compare P1 to P2. And usually in F1 esports, it's just little mistakes. You can't even tell when they made the mistakes. That is how close we are here today as well, with the top 5 within just under a tenth. It's like F1 esports all over again. I'm very impressed with Carter Lundy at the moment as well, being up there as well, because for most of the season so far, up until last week, he was in F3, and then he got promoted to F2, and he's already doing a great job in qualifying. So it shows that the big boss, Mr. Big C, has faith in Carter Lundy, and he is proving some worth at the moment tonight. But he's still got quite a bit of time to find to even get pole position. I think we could go into the 102s, because I know Thomas Ronha reached the 102s last night. So it's still time to be found from everybody on track at the moment. But Manolo Villa is on a lap at the moment, so we'll see. He's got some clear air as well, which will help, and he can't have the clear air as he invalidated in turn 1.
That you never want to see. It's horrible when you've done your outlap, you're getting yourself ready, psyched up, and bang, first corner bites you. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, he's not got a fuel warning light on, so hopefully he's able to. Well, he's revving the death out of the car, so he's not saving any fuel by doing that. Who's going to be next over the line? Is that going to be Simon Perroni? Yes, it is. Everybody's coming back out. We are fast approaching the Banzai phase, as I call it. And there goes Perroni. Let's follow him through the lap into turn 1, using as much apex and curbs as he dare. That was Vadkim's Zvetkov. I'm going to have to keep reading that to get it right. Through the non-existent turn 2, up the hill, heavy on the brakes for Remus. Turn 3, kiss the apex, run a little bit wide, car skating a little bit. Purple sector 1 according to the map. 103.065 is Ron Haas' time. That's only just over a tenth off Simone's previous time. Kiss again the apex at Sloskull. Turn 4, now coming down the hill. This is where Luke Smith got it all wrong and buried his car in the wall. Roush, turn 5, coming down the hill. Now Worth, turn 6, very quickly into 7. Keep the car nice and steady, don't wander onto the grass. Yellow flags there because people are slowing down. Tom Martinez stays out of the way, as does, I think that was Villacampa indeed. Don't run too wide coming through the last 2 turns. We've seen laps invalidated there. What does Simon Perroni get? It's pole with a 103.045, 200ths of a second clear of Ron Ha. But plenty of laps still to come. Everybody is out there at the moment.
Well, Duncan was on a lap, but unfortunately he invalidated, so he will get to go again. So the next man to set a lap will be Carter Lundy, as it's not Carter Lundy, as he's backed off as well. So let's follow Jack Laverty then on his lap. He's a few 100ths down at the moment. Nope, he's not scrapped that. Oh. He's purple sector 2, but only a few 100ths of a second. So expect a few more time left in the tank for him. He probably will find time in the final set then, as we already have a retirement, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Jack Laverty up to the line, and he doesn't improve on the final sector. He stays in 4th, but guess what? He gets to go again. We got the Red Bull of Danny up to the line. Does he improve? No, he does not. He's 2 100ths down. We've got, I think, Norbert Jakob, who's invalidated. I believe he's invalidated his next run. Villa Camper, 103.043, 2,000ths quicker than Simon Brigby. This is getting closer by the minute, and we still haven't got the 2 McLarens yet, who have not improving yet. We've got Rupert Jr. that's slowed down. Thomas Ronhart, I think he's going again. It's hard to tell from my end as well. But yeah, I wonder, is anyone going to beat Villacamba by the looks of it? Don't think so. We've got to keep an eye on Thomas Ronhart and maybe the likes of, I don't know, quite a few people actually. Most people have already done 1 lap on the softs already. So this could be it, but you never know.
You never know. I think it's Carter Lundy coming over the line with a 103.05 on the board to put him into 3rd place. Nicely done in the Aston Martin. Who's next to come over the line? I think it might be Danny. Yes, it is. Oh, that's invalidated in the last, so no improvement there. Jakob is in the pits. He won't be improving. Here comes Ron Ha. Can he improve? Where is he? He's behind the tower, and he is done it at 102.939 for Thomas Ron Ha, championship leader. Every round he scored points in. It's been a podium in this series so far. Good Lord, that is impressive. Oh my goodness. Is anybody out there? No, everyone else is either in the pits or circulating, having completed their lap. So it's Thomas Ronha from Oscar Villacampa for your top row. And then it's Simon Perroni and Carter Lundy, F3 promotee, on row 2. Pedreño and Laverty, row 3. Danny and Svedkov, 2 of our reservists, on row 4. Great effort there on their maiden voyage in this tier. Then it is Norbert Jakob, Duncan Hoffland, row 5. Paris Burrell, good to see him back with us. We haven't seen Paris a great deal many times, but it's always welcome to have him on board. And Andre Terrabukin on row 6. Manolo Villa and Martinez on row 7, with Luke Smith and Joost Noordijk at the back end of the field. You know, Joost won at France, so he knows how to score well on his car, but he's going to have it all to do here at Austria.
Yeah, he does. Luke Smith, the only one eligible to set a lap, did not set a lap there. But Thomas Ronhart, he has come leaps and bounds since he joined the PC side, because he used to be on Xbox. And we did say, well, people did say to us, watch out for this guy. And, well,
isn't he proving it?
He is improving, definitely. He is proving that he deserves to be in F1 esports, definitely.
Oh, yeah, keep an eye on this name. That's an absolute truth. Look at that. On a track that sees so minor improvements, he found a full 10th over Oscar Villacampa. Absolutely unreal. Now, we always say that mistakes are costly, but when the times are so close, that mistake is amplified even more so. What's the weather going to be like this time? Oh, I had a feeling it was going to be wet because everybody was out on soft, very few times on the mediums, and it was a constant run of soft tyres. Oh dear, that's not light rain either. That is absolutely chucking it down. Ooh.
This is going to get spicy for the Austrian Grand Prix, isn't it? We had a bit of wet qualifying for Q2 in F1, and we're going to get a bit of a wet race here in F1 as well. I think we had it a bit towards the end last night as well, but not enough for them to go onto the intermediate tyres. But I do see on Vadim Svedkov's garage that it is Inters, which I don't believe, because it's absolutely soaking out there. There's probably still going to be standing water as well. So I was going to say about the strategy being soft to mediums, that's thrown completely out the window now, because it would have been an easy one-stop race for these drivers, because the tyres don't go off as quickly as in other tracks on this game. But well, we don't know what strategy they're going to be on as well. The Inters last the same time as the medium tyres, which is roughly about 20 laps. But if they want to, if their time management is good enough, the rule states on the game at least, they can last the whole race, either on Inters or at least the 4 wets. But the Inters will probably struggle a little bit. But we will have to wait and see. This is going to throw the pretty much the race wide open, isn't it? People near the back as well could be with a chance. There's no alternate strategy as well, and that's why we saw the times close they are as well. And I'm still quite shocked they're still close as it is, because most people might be on a wet setup.
That is very true indeed. So, and who's put the practice in for wet conditions? I've often mused that it's the lesser trodden path, isn't it? Not many people tend to practice the wet weather conditions. Everybody is on Inters at the moment. So, whilst the rain looks pretty heavy, you're riding on board with Thomas Ronhart. I'm not seeing any standing water anywhere just yet. So the rain clearly isn't heavy enough for full wets. You need a lot of standing water for the full wets to be the viable choice over the intermediates. So we'll see what the status of that is. Let's look at the cloud cover. That looks fairly consistent. So no short-term break in the weather, but we'll see what happens then. Thomas Ronhart leads the field around this very short circuit. It's unlike Jess, I do quite like driving this one. I'm not good at it. I'm not good anywhere, frankly, but I do enjoy this one. I've buried many a lap into the dust on the outside, particularly of Turn 4 at Schlossgold. But yeah, this it's tricky at the best of times. And Joost Noordijk, now at the tail end of the field with wet weather conditions, it's, yeah, all bets are off at this point. But chat, make yourselves known. Who are you vying for? Let's get the votes out there, get the confidence in the drivers. Let's see who you're supporting.
I'm going to get my prediction early on as well. I think because it's a track that you need to overtake well at, and the DRS is disabled, don't forget, in the wet. I'm going to go with, usually if it's a dry session, I would have gone for, actually I still would have gone for Thomas Ronhart anyway, because he is a go at trying to defend as well, but he doesn't have to rely on DRS today if it stays like this. So I'm going to have to go for Thomas Ronhart for the win, but whoever gets P2 and 3, I literally do not know as well. And to that, I'm not as good in the dry, but I'm very good in the wet. I actually got my first podium, league racing podium around here in the wet conditions. So there we go. But
your reaction on your stream was very apt for that, I will say. Here we go then to get this race underway. We know the procedure. It is time to wind them up and let them go! And it's a very steady start, as you would imagine, coming away from the way everybody has gotten away all right. Of course, Ron Hart leading the way. A very good start from Jakob. Whoa, that's a big move from Hofland, trying to make some move. Lots of running off wide. Everyone's trying to keep their cars pointing in the right direction. Looks like everybody has survived so far. Now up the hill, coming towards turn 3. Whoa, that's Laverty getting a bit squiggly. Slams into the side of Carter Lundy as well in the Aston. Struth alive. Looks like everybody has survived, but I would imagine there's been a lot of banging and bumping going on. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some pit stops at the end of the lap.
Yes, indeed. Thomas Ronhart already pulling away off the start line. Same with Simon Perigny as well. But lots of midfield battles happening at the moment, in particular at the back as well. People like Luke and Joost and Manolo trying to get off of the back lot. As Ruben Pedreño actually trying to go side by side with the Williams and the Alpine as well. Heading towards turn 7. He makes it stick quite nicely as well. Andre Tarbukin makes his way himself up to P7. And we've got Danny and Paris going for a move. We've got loads of moves happening in the back as well. As
Paris
yellow
barrel.
flag. That's Paris has spinned it and he's disconnected or left the session. I don't know. And we got more contact. It's I don't know what's happening. It's people going to the pits.
Oh, Joost. Oh no, beg your pardon. Because of the way the pit lane is, it almost circumvents the final turn, so it does upset the tower. But that's 4 drivers into the pits. Svetkov, Smith, Hofland, and Burrell all into the pits at the end of lap 1. But it's Ronhart from Pyrenees from Villa Camper at the end of the first lap. Lundy, Laverty, and Terry Buchan right behind them. Danny has been bouncing around the timing tower. He's now up to 7th position. And, of course, everybody that had been to the pits staying on the intermediate tyres. Big lock up there for Ron Hart, which is not really that unsurprising. We saw a lot of that in the wet qualifying yesterday in the F1 tier. The unloaded tyre does lock up very, very easily with the wet conditions. There's spray starting to be generated off the back of the McLaren, you can see from that camera angle, which Simon Perigny is getting a big old face full of. If anything, that rain is starting to get a little heavier. So we might see, if that continues to be the case, we might see wet weather tyres coming out later. We will see. But already, disaster striking for 4 of the drivers. Oh, Tarbuka. Whoa, my goodness me. There's someone flying off the road. Laverty's coming into the pits as well. Who on earth flew off the road?
Well, I think Tarbuka made contact with Jack Laverty there in the final few corners there, which I think that's probably why Jack got damaged. But he might have had damage before that, I don't know. And that's Jack retiring in the pit lane, so he must have had something else that happened to him that caused that damage, unfortunately. So that makes him his first retiree of the session then, as we start lap 3 of 36. Usually we have DRS, but since it's chucking it down at the moment, no DRS is activated in the rain, so they've got to rely on Slipstream really to get the overtake done, and they've got to save that ERS as well, which you can save more in the rain, but you've got to use it wisely, because you don't want to use it up before pretty much when you do your first pit stop. You've got to save as much as you possibly can as well. Just like the front 3 are doing, they're pulling away quite quickly, and everyone else is just stuck in that DRS train. With Carter Lundy and Villa Camper there in their own train, then we've got Danny, Norbert Jakob, Tarbukin. Tom Martinez is in that train as well, with Villa as well. Joost in there, and so is Ruben Pedreño, and then we've got another train of Duncan Hofland, Luke Smith, Vedkov, and Paris, but Paris is, unfortunately, that's the session, so technically we're down to 2 retirements. So DRS trains is a thing here, even though it's obviously there's no DRS, but trains is going to be even more a factor since there's no DRS. So who's going to blink first? That's going to be people's main question. But the top 2, they're just definitely pulling away like no tomorrow and showing that they are the class of the field. Well, Simon has done quite well this season too, so you would expect that from him.
Absolutely, Simon Perigny doing what he can to keep the Dutchman company up front, but Ronhart, the sensible bet for the win so far, is slowly easing away from the Frenchman. Oscar Villacamper has got Carter Lundy for company. The 2 Aston Martins together, 3rd and 4th. Reservist Danny's done pretty well in 5th position in the Red Bull, so he's almost a second clear of Norbert Jakob, who's got Terry Buchan, Martinez, Villa, Nordyke, and Ruben Pedreño all for company. That's the... Whoa, you can see how squiggly the second McLaren's getting coming through turn 6 and 7. You saw how he had to really wrestle that one under control as Simon Perigny gets the fastest lap. And Norbert Jakob gets us 3-second time penalty. I suspect there's going to be quite a few of those in these conditions. We saw Pedreño wander a bit wide. Whoop, and there's a lag moment for him that sends him backwards slightly. It's always weird when you ride on board with someone that does that. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very challenging race, despite the fact there's fewer corners. Coming back to what you're saying earlier, Jess, about energy management, because there's not a lot of big, heavy braking zones in this track. There's not many opportunities to recharge the ERS, so they do have to be careful on how they deploy it.
Yeah, indeed. I think the only braking zones really is heading towards turn 3 and a little bit maybe towards turn 4 as well. So really, if you're a little bit too further back from your main rivals, maybe that is when you can start saving as well, potentially too. And there may be safety cars. Safety cars is quite common around here too, so they may have a chance to save them, but you can't really risk on a safety car. You got to save it throughout the whole race. And that's a good point you actually touched about penalties. Out of all the tracks on this game, Austria's one of the ones where loads of people get time penalties. Almost everyone does around here. So easy to do as well. The stewards are being a bit strict on it today, but on this game, if you cut ever so slightly through certain corners, they just slap dunk you with a penalty, and sometimes it could be unfair, but you can't really track extend around here. I'm quite surprised only Norbert Jakob, though, has got a penalty. I thought more people would get penalties earlier on in the race, but at least they're keeping it clean. It shows they've been putting the practice in today for this race. Simon Peregni's actually closed in on Thomas Ronha. He was 1.3 seconds behind Chris. Now he's 9/10 of a second behind.
Fastest lap as well has gone to the Alfa Romeo, so Pironi's not willing to let his championship. So you can see in the Delta top right hand corner, that was 3.5 tenths. Simon was slower that particular lap, and Ronha has opened up the gap by at least that kind of figure. So he's done pretty good in rebuilding that gap very, very quickly. The Aston Martin pair still together. They're losing time. Whoa, just as I say that, Carter Lundy has a look on the inside of Oscar Villacampa, but does not make the move just yet. Is he going to go for on the run to turn 4? Doesn't get the traction where he needs it, though. Gets very, very squiggly indeed. Villacampa's just going to hold his line. And that's the other problem you've got in the rain. When you're trying to make a move, you've got to come off the racing line where the water is even deeper. So, and look at the spray now beginning to come off the back of Villacampa's car. If anything, the rain is such that the water is not dissipating. So, no one's going to be looking at slicks for quite a while, if at all, in this particular race. So, if they're struggling already, that struggle is going to get worse. Looking at the deltas as well in the pack that's behind Danny, this field is beginning to separate a bit. So, you know, people won't have particularly practiced the wet weather conditions, but everybody's doing a pretty good job of keeping their cars on the island so far. Ronhard's continuing to build that gap, another 3/10 to the McLaren's favour.
Yes, indeed. I think Thomas Ronha has found more heat into his tyre. He was probably saving his ERS as well. That's why Simon Peregni was actually closing in a few laps ago as well. Maybe Peregni is struggling with the tyre temps. We don't know. So I'm sure he has something saved up his back pocket at the moment for him. And he's still in second anyway, so he'll probably still take that. Because this season, really, it's all about consistency in order to do well in this championship. So sometimes P2 may be enough, but I know some people may want to get P1, as Luke Smith has got a 3-second tyre penalty. So now we've not got two drivers on the penalty board right now, and it was a 3-second one, not a 5-second one, luckily. So he's got more time to find, and he's a few tenths behind Duncan Hoffland as well. Duncan Hoffland actually dropped down a few positions since the very start. Luke Smith has gained a few positions. Biggest gainer so far this race, obviously Yost started last because he had a qualifying ban. Also Tom Martinez gaining exactly the same position, 6 places. We have Villa gained 4 places, and Andre Buchan, one of our reserves, he has gained 5 places. So those drivers doing very well so far, and obviously Peregni having a great start as well, getting past Villacampa on the opening lap, I believe. But there we obviously have Thomas Ronha. He hasn't moved a soul, but it's not about where you start, it's where you finish. And we got the 2 Alfa Romeos trying to catch up again, as we got Carter Lundy trying to attack on the right hand side into turn 3. They're going to go side by side there. No DRS as well, so you could get the overtake done into turn 3. But Villacampa is defending quite nicely there due to the spray as well. Is Carter Lundy going to have launch attack again onto turn 4? He does not. So Villacampa doing very well to defend off his teammate. If I was the Aston Martin boss, I will be very, very nervous right now, but at least they're keeping it clean.
So far, so good for the Aston Martin pair. Carter Lundy's battery was very, very low as they came through turn 3. So he's got to be careful. He's got to do the energy measurement exactly as we were talking about. Danny is gaining on them a bit. He's shaken off Norbert Jakob. Now 1.3 seconds between 5th and 6th. Between the Red Bull and the Ferrari as Ron Hard gets another fastest lap. With 2 seconds now between himself and Pirani. Trouble in Sector 2, that I think is Vetkov. Yes, the Williams is buried into the dust, so he's retired from the session, so he's retired his car. Oh, it's out on track as well. That could cause trouble, but that's a shame. And off goes the AI. That's actually pulled that one off right by a marshal's post. Very considerate of the Williams AI there. But that's a shame. He was showing good form early on, but the wet weather has been the undoing of the reserve driver.
Yes, it has as well. Maybe he didn't put as much practice in, but for some drivers, they were called at last minute as well, so they didn't have time. But you got to learn to adapt sometimes. In F1 esports as well, there has been instances where their third driver was called in last minute, and you have to pretty much be on the money from the get-go. You got to practice as if you are a full-time driver, because you never know when you get called. Like Nico Hulkenberg in real life a few seasons ago, remember, in real life, he got called, I think, 30 minutes to the start of qualifying at one point. So it is possible that it could happen even in the best of times. So obviously, the busy life of Challengers drivers, people may get sick, people might just have a bad Wi-Fi, bad connection. So you've got to be on your A game if you're a full-time driver or a reserve driver here, as we're watching Peregni's ERS management. He's doing quite well, 77%, but he needs to actually start pushing now to close in on Thomas Ronhard, because he's got enough battery to do so. We're watching Carter Lundy. He's not going for the move this time around, but he is losing a bit of ERS, so that's probably why. Not much happening at the moment, but Ruben Pedreño, one of the McLaren drivers, he goes into the pit right now, so I'm trying to see what tyres he goes on. Oh, slicks! He's
gone for medium tyres, amazingly. That's brave. That's very,
brave.
very brave. There's still sprays you can see from that shot coming off the bat. Now, the rain may have abated a bit, but why? I mean, you could also argue... No, that's got to be a mistake, surely. Yeah. I mean, the rain may have stopped falling in places, but... there you go. There's no way he was slowing down for Remus at the top of the hill. That's whoops. Yeah, that's all over the place. There's no way. About a week early for the slick tyres. I genuinely thought that the rain was going to carry on going, but there's no way that Pedreño is going to be able to do anything here. Any advantage he would get. Oh, no, he's in the wall. Yeah, that's hit the wall. So it's not just going to be tyres that Pedreño comes in for again. The end plate amazingly looks like it's still there, but oh dear, that's
that is far too early. I was starting to question him as well, because it looked like it stopped, but it's so damp. There's still spray in there as well for the drivers as well, and even though people got to take the gamble at times, it's just definitely not enough for slick. So people will be listening to their Jeffs, they'll be listening to their gut feeling as well, and they're probably seeing Ruben Pedreño thinking, hang on, he's on the slicks, how is he doing? And then they're probably starting to see on the track map him losing position, and then they realise actually it's not good for slick tyres yet, so they're carrying on as well. But I thought it was going to rain for the whole race, I agree, but that opens a whole can of worms for this race then. So they'll be stretching out the inters, I would have seemed, pretty much until the dry period, and it could last more than 20 laps, so their tyres could be at puncture territory. Inters on a dry track, that's going to be quite difficult as well, so you've got to time it absolutely right. We could see DRS as well, so that's good news for Thomas Ronhard, because he's got a comfortable gap between himself and Peregni, and he doesn't have to worry about anyone's attacking him from behind at the moment, but he's got to go on the right strategy course. Strategy will come into effect. We don't want to see what happened in Russia in real life with Lando Norris staying out in the slicks, and he ended up losing his potentially his first win, which we were absolutely gutted. So hopefully we won't see the same again, but we saw the same with Ruben Pedreño, both of them in the McLaren, so there we go.
Pedreño's on another set of mediums. He's determined. He's determined to make these work somehow. The rain does seem to have stopped. Yes, but yeah, okay. Your optimism is being stretched somewhat. And he spun at exactly the same point he did last time.
He's going to get lapped.
Yeah, and he's reset the track. Well, there's nobody anywhere near him. And here comes... there are a few people coming past him now. Terabukin has come into the pits. So 12 laps on his inter tyres. Now it's going to be surely, whilst it might be awkward to have to come out on another set of wet tyres, no, he's going mediums as well.
Surely not.
He is. The Alpine is on the medium tyres. Rather you than me is all I'm going to say to that.
Good. I would say he hasn't seen any of the drivers around him, so he doesn't know what Pedreño is thinking right now as he's hit the wall in the end of the pit lane. That is, again, far too early. It's so slippery. Still spray, you just can't do it, and that's going to be another person that's losing a bit of ground. He was in I think, the top 7, I think, before the pit stops as well, so he took the gamble. It did not work. I pray to God that nobody else does the same mistake, because otherwise they will potentially ruin a great position potentially as well. And they've got to commit to the pit lane as well. They have been warned in the stewards briefing, if they don't commit to the pit lane line, as it says in the game, they will be getting penalised. They have to read the briefing, obviously. It has been published to all drivers to read, and that sometimes people complain if they get a penalty, well, they need to read the rules, and sometimes the rules can be misinterpreted sometimes, but the stewards obviously are there to help you if needed as well. So there we go.
Danny is closing in on the Aston Martin pair, who are still having a bit of a squabble for third. Villacampa is keeping Catalunya at bay. I haven't seen any more moves tried for that third position, but the Red Bull has been slowly but surely working his way up towards the Aston Martin pair as Tarabukin's come back into the pits again. Is he going to switch back to Inters, or is he going to go for another set of drives? We're getting into that kind of awkward... Oh, no, he's retired, so he's decided to park the car. Okay, he's opted that he's not going to remake that time. Pedreño is carrying on. He's absolutely determined to make that work. I mean, that's surely into the realm of stubbornness by now. And Tarabukin's car has been fitted with soft. That's even more optimistic. But fair play, Pedreño. If you can find anything out there, then good on you. But you are some distance behind. So I think that your determination is not going to pay off for you. But yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on Danny's progress. So we haven't seen this driver before in F2. So wasn't sure where to gauge him, but he's doing an absolutely stunning job out there. And Villacampa and Lundy are not slow drivers at all. So yeah, very much looking forward to this fight that's developing.
Yeah, it is. He's closing in. He's almost within a second. And if it dries up as well, he'll be within DRS2. And yeah, I haven't seen Danny for a long time. And he's doing so well as well. And I don't know what leagues he's been in, but you can tell he's put the practice in and he wants to be in PSGL so much. And he could get a podium as well, because look at that. He's got no penalties so far, and the only touching distance he is, like you said, is between the Aston Martin drivers. So yeah, I'm excited about this too as well. And it also Norbert Jakob could be in this as well, but again with the time penalties too. There's just small battles developing, but there's big gaps everywhere else as well. That's why there's not much happening. But there's people that just are not brave enough at the moment to go for a move in these conditions, which are on the cusp of being dry, but not enough to be dry yet. Because if you make the wrong decision at the wrong time, that is where you can end up in the wall and retire, and you do not want that. So Catalunya then, closest to a driver on the track, and again, he's a little bit further behind to get past Villacampa on this occasion. We've got Duncan, who's now in the pits. So is he going to go for the gamble and go for the slicks? He is going for the slicks, Chris. He's gone for the mediums.
Well, Hofland's decided to pull the trigger now. Away he goes.
DRS enabled.
Okay, so race control feel it is safe enough. That camera's staying there a long time. There's no point staring at an empty pit box. Yeah, so Hofland now on the medium tyres. Does he bounce off the pit wall? No, he's going to take his time and do that one properly. That Mercedes doesn't look comfortable to drive. So now the crossover time is coming. In comes Ronhar as well. Does Pirani? Yeah, Pirani's in. What about Vidicamper? Yep, he's in. Now Lundy's not going to stack behind his teammate. So in Lundy, whoa, sliding his way through that final turn. But and Joost has, oh, he's disconnected. So that's a shame. A disconnection for Joost Noordijk at the moment. Look how many are coming in. Everybody following suit now. But Hofland was the first one to time that one right. But he's nowhere near close enough to really be able to gain any particular time from it. Paris Burrell's come in. Luke Smith hasn't come in yet. Where is he? That's because he's just coming in now and nearly loses it on the run to the stop line. That was very, very close. Everyone else is in now. Is Joost Ghost going to stitch him up here? Yeah, he's carried on. So Joost is going to fall through the field pretty badly. Cartolandi is going to bring his car in when he can. It's the gap now between Ronhar and Pirani. Now 4 seconds. Martinez has gone for a slightly different call. He's gone for the soft tyres. Okay.
Ooh.
That's a long way to go for the soft, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 2 laps more than I would have expected, so he's probably hoping for a late safety car, which will either happen or not happen, but again, you can't bank on it. But I've seen people make those softs last before, but don't forget, this is cooler temperatures. It could last a bit longer if it's on warmer temperatures, so maybe he thinks that it's going to stay like this for a bit longer as well, and sometimes I do that if it's on the cusp of still being a bit damp, but it's still enough for dries. Maybe that could be the safest bet as well, so you can spend the next 2 laps trying to save your tyres, and then from lap 20, that is when you start to push. But we will see. We'll keep an eye on Tom's progress during this race, because if he times it right, that could be absolutely huge. He's going to try and close in onto Manolo Villar now in P7, and we're starting to see lap times on the medium tyres as well almost get to like it was usually in race pace like we saw last night with the F1 guys as well, which is great to see. And Ron Hart's pace on the dries, I have to say, is crazy. 4.5 seconds. He was 2 seconds before the pit stop. He's from another planet right now against Simon Peregni right now. So this is his track for him. It helped, obviously, he had the practice yesterday in F1, but he's had practice in Xbox, he had practice in other leagues as well around this track as well, and it's about how you improve from league to league. You can't win every race, of course not, and he's probably learned from his mistakes in Austria in previous iterations of seeding, so he's learned from it and he's doing very, very well. Danny's up to 4th place as well, so what's happened to Carter Lundy? Is he stay? Yeah, he had to pick
stay
quite
out.
late. Yeah, he had to stay out. I think he would have lost time whether he stayed out or go into the pits, so that is very frustrating for the Aston Martin camp. That's why Daddy got promoted to P4.
Yeah, that's has bitten Carter, but then it was inevitable whether he double stacked or whether he'd gone stayed out. I mean, who knows what's realistically going to be the better option. By the way, he's in 6th position, staring at the back of Norbert Jakob now. The field is relatively spaced out, although Luke Smith is gaining pretty quickly on Duncan Hofland. I wonder if Duncan's made a mistake somewhere, because that gap has really shrunk pretty quickly. And here goes the Alpine. He's going to dispatch with the Mercedes pretty easily. Wow, just dances around him. Can he slow it down? Yes, he can. Coming through turn 4 as the fastest lap goes back towards Ron Hart. Who, yeah, exactly as you say, he's not of this world. He's absolutely untouchable at the moment. And continuing here on his merry way. Oh, Danny, we've been bigging you up all race, and you've just put your name on the penalty board. Goodness me, commentator curse. That's one for us too. Hey ho, we'll see what he can do with it. Nonetheless, I mean, if everybody gets a penalty, then it will make very little difference. But he is doing what he can to catch up with Oscar Villicamper. The fastest lap is, of course, going to continue to change hands as the track continues to get quicker and quicker and drier and drier. Yeah, I'm curious to see out Tom's progress. He's just under 2 seconds behind Manolo Villa now, who himself is, he's 1.2 behind Carter Lundy. We'll see if that gap changes. But still, I mean, Simon Perroni is a very, very quick driver, and he's just got no answer to Ronhar. The Dutchman is just absolutely you know, yeah, I keep using the analogy. He is absolutely flying, but what other phrase can you use? My word, did you see the amount of sliding he was putting through turn 1? That was a fair amount of rallying going on in the Papaya McLaren. Struth, the only person that can stop Ronhar is Ronhar right now.
Yeah, it's himself. I got to agree, and he's gained a second per lap on that last lap as well, and he hasn't. I don't think he set the fastest lap. The fastest lap belongs to Luke Smith, and Luke Smith is only a tenth quicker than Thomas Ronhard. So Luke Smith is matching the pace of the McLaren, but due to his qualifying, he's a little bit further back. So we'll see how much he climbs, Luke Smith. So keep an eye on him throughout this race as well, as I'm trying my best to get Joost in. So Joost, if you are watching and if you want to join back, just check the DMs as well so we can try and get you back in. But I'm trying to see what other lap times they're being produced as well. Danny's not that far behind as well. Simon as well, 105. There's a few people are struggling a little bit, but I think that's mainly due to Joost and Paris's AI that are being so at the moment. So just ignore those fastest laps for the time being. Watch the gaps get closer and closer between the likes of Carter Lundy and Norbert Jakob. Carter Lundy has got well, it's the yellow flag. That is
Martinez.
a Red Bull. Was from Martinez, who was had a bit of an off final corner. I thought it was in the pits, but it wasn't. So he had a bit of an off.
He's got no nose cone. He's had an argument.
No.
He's pushed a little bit too hard, and Luke Smith now on the penalty board. Yeah, Tom Martinez, he's going to have to visit the pits whether he likes it or not. I mean, and just as I looked away, Danny has managed to claim Oscar Villicamper on the run down to turn 4. Nicely done, as Carter Lundy's done exactly the same to Norbert Jakob, and now Hoffland and Smith are together, nearly literally coming into turn 2.
Wow, that's just insane. There's more battles happening. I said there was going to be battles, and there are going to be battles as well. We've got Villicamper versus Danny for the final podium spot as well. That could get very feisty as well. We've got Villicamper, who's got a point to prove, and Danny, who just wants to have a little bit of fun, to be honest, as well, as they make their way towards the top of the hill, turn 1. One thing to point out, actually, in the dry, turn 1 can blind you a lot when it's obviously in the daytime as well, so they got to get used to that, and it's no assist, don't forget, so they don't have to rely on the line as much. As we're seeing Danny's running out of VRS. Villicamper's got plenty, so he could have had a chance to get the overtake done here and there, but again, he's not close enough. DRS activated then, another chance to get the move done into turn 4. Tom Martinez is pitting for a new front wing then, and he's going on to the medium tyres. Every single driver now is on the medium tyres. Villicamper's just not budging, is he? Danny is doing a great job, despite Danny being on low ERS compared to the Aston Martin.
Indeed, Duncan Hoffland is still keeping Luke Smith for company, coming through turn 3 on the run down towards 4. The Alpine's got no defence, nearly runs the Mercedes off the road, but Duncan Hoffland had the measure of Luke Smith and reclaims 8th position. Norbert Jakob is still quite close to Carter Lundy, but not close enough to make an attack. There, going out of the shot was Danny and Oscar Villicamper, and Manolo Villar, there he is, just entering the shot, chasing off after they battled for 5th position, as Ronhard continues to extend his gap up front. I suspect the reason why Martinez went onto the mediums is because the sun is now out and the temperatures will rise pretty quickly, making the softs just impossible to use, and Ronhard has got himself a penalty. At the moment, that will make absolutely no difference whatsoever, but if he gets another one and Pironi manages to keep a clean sheet, that could bring the Frenchman back into play, as Hoffland now has the fastest lap of the race, down in 8th position. So there's still plenty of battles to be won and still plenty of fighting to conclude.
Yeah, indeed. We're also keeping an eye on Norbert Jakob, on Carter Lundy too. That could get very, very feisty indeed. But since quite a few people have had trouble-free races as well, that's allowed people to climb up massively from their starting positions as well. And they're just now showing their pure pace now. They're not worried about the rain anymore. It's nice and sunny. It's like we're in qualifying. It's dried up so quickly. So it's now pretty much game on for all these drivers. Thomas Ronhard gained another second on Simon Beregni that lap as well. Danny still keeping Villicamper for company as well, despite the penalty. So Danny has got to make sure he has 3 seconds clear, which is easier said than done because Villacampa is chasing him like no tomorrow. Norbert Jakob, though, was almost on the back of Carter Lundy and he couldn't quite get it done, unfortunately. Dirty air is starting to play into effect now for these drivers, so they can't get the overtake as much as they wanted to. Down towards turn 4 again. He's trying to find every bit of space as well. Maybe Norbert is waiting for a few more laps, so Carter Lundy does not have enough time to respond. Maybe that'll probably be the best decision, but Norbert Jakob needs to get a move on now, ideally, because of the penalty that he has got, as Norbert Jakob almost had a bit of a moment in turn 7, so that was time lost between himself and Carter Lundy. Luke Smith is having a nice battle with Duncan Hoffland. They've been having good battles in the past in F2, so it's good to see them there again as well. And well, Luke Smith has used to be up there at the front, but he's not at the front tonight, but at least he's giving us a show. Don't forget he started second to last in the qualifying, so the only way he could gain is up, and he's in the points. So in his book, he's had a good race.
Indeed he is, and there he is, about 7/10 off the back of Hoffland. He's got a really good run on the exit of the final turn. He's absolutely decimated the gap between himself and Hoffland. Surely that's going to give him the opportunity to attack for 8th position coming up into turn 3. Already on board with the Alpine, gaining. Easy move. Hoffland doesn't defend the inside line. But still tries to break the Alpine, but of course that's now going to put Hoffland into the slipstream position. So now, is the Mercedes going to be able to attack back? Well, of course, Luke Smith still has the DRS, and look how powerful it is. Luke Smith just running off, to leaving the Mercedes for dead during that run down to turn 4. But Manolo Villar now has DRS off the back of Norbert Jakob. He's joined this particular train to make it 3 cars deep. So Lundy now has another car to contend with, as I'm assuming that's Joost Noordijk that's reappeared as the timing screen has gone blank. Is it Joost?
Yeah, it
is indeed. Joost Noordijk has finally managed to return to his car, having lost a colossal amount of time. Let's ride on board with Manolo Villar again, as Norbert Jakob very close to Carter Lundy on the exit of turn 3. What can they do on the run to 4? Well, of course, the Ferrari's going to have DRS, but Carter Lundy just about... Oh, I was about to say he has enough breathing space, but no, he doesn't. Norbert Jakob has decisively gone through on the inside line of turn 4 to claim 5th.
Wow, that was a brilliant move for him. He waited for the perfect opportunity. I said he was going to be patient, and he waited, and he did it. And to be honest, it caught Carter Lundy unawares as well, and it allowed Villa to be in the picture just a little bit more. So Carter Lundy has not got just 1 car to worry about, but 2. He's stuck in a sandwich right now, and he's got to be on his A game for the last remaining laps of this Austrian Grand Prix. Carter Lundy is slowing down a little bit right now, heading towards turn 1, but or it might. No, I thought it was his teammate, but he's a little bit behind. Speaking of his teammate, he's right on the back of Danny. This could be the move for the podium on the track, but he's lost a bit of time there. Going towards turn 3, he will lose a bit of downforce if he was too close into that corner there, so that's why he's backed off just a little bit more. He's got plenty of ERS though, so I'm a bit surprised he's not using it right now. He thinks he possibly can't make a move, but you know, he could have done it because there was a little bit of straight to use, but he's on 89%, but I'm looking at Danny's, he's on 6, so this could have been Villacampa's chance to get the move. Maybe next lap. Surely Villacampa can see Danny's ERS light flashing very, very soon. So if I was Villacampa, I would try going for the move, really, because he has the most ERS. Danny has hardly anything.
He may well opt to not do it. He doesn't have to make the move. He knows that Danny will have the penalty, so he just has to stay there and he'll inherit 3rd position. We will see as we hit the final 7 laps of the race. Still plenty of fighting going on. Danny versus Villacampa, Jakob versus Lundy and Villar, as well as Smith versus Hoffland. Here we go again, the 3-way fight for 5th position. Ferrari versus Aston versus AlphaTauri. Oh my goodness, 3-way coming up the hill into turn 3. Oh my goodness, Carter tried to defend against Villar but didn't quite pay off. So tried to push the AlphaTauri onto the grass but wasn't having it. Manolo went from the outside line. Now commits to jumps to the inside line for 4 as Joost Noordijk is coming into the pits again. That might be the end of his race. Wow, this fight is... that is indeed the end of Joost Noordijk's race. He's parked the car. He's lost too much time. He's not going to continue. That's a great shame for him. But wow, Manolo Villar from a fairly difficult qualifying now up into 6th place and challenging very, very well indeed.
He is as well. I think a lot of people are starting to realise they haven't got long left to go at this race, and they're absolutely fighting for every position they've got. Even the likes of Duncan Hoffman and Luke Smith are fighting as well. Carter Lundy, surely he's going to get the move done into turn 3 very, very shortly, but Manolo's probably thinking of the same thing, so we're going to see it could be 3 wide again. Go towards turn 3. Manolo goes for the right-hand side. Carter to the right as well as they head towards turn 3. Luckily, it's not 3 abreast, but it's so close. They're trying to leave as much space as they can. Villar doing a great job trying to defend from both of them as well, but Carter to the right-hand side they go. Then towards turn 4 then. Can he go for the long way round and go for the attack then? It's going to be very, very close. He decides to back off for now. He decides to wait for another lap break. Could have ended in tears, but these 3 are giving us an absolute show. I'm surprised these 3 haven't ended up in a wall. That's pure respect from all 3 of them, which is really great to see from this F2 tier as well. And Carter Lundy has been pushing so much, he's almost out of VRS, so he's got to go and move on, because his nearest rivals have got even more, only slightly more to be fair, but it's going to be quite a few battles going on as well. So Villar will be breathing easy just for a little bit, but he knows he's got 2 chasing cars in his mirrors to worry about. Or has he gone a bit wide going into turn 1? This could be Norbert Jakob's chance.
It's not like the Ferrari needs an overdue invitation. Here we go again. 3 wide up into turn 3. Ferrari on the inside line. There's Jakob. He's gone too deep though as Villar comes back at him. Now Carter Lundy gets the run on the way back down the hill towards turn 4. That's not the camera we want. We'll go with the Ferrari. There's Manolo Villar defending on the outside line of 4. He keeps Carter Lundy at bay. And Norbert Jakob tries an outside manoeuvre but can't get it done. My goodness me, they are leaving nothing on the table. Let's have some of this. I'm keeping an eye as well on the gap between Duncan Hoffman and Luke Smith. Oh, that's surely an easy move for the Mercedes, yet the Alpine had no answer to that, as well as Luke Smith having a penalty. That might be the end of that particular battle. Also, Danny does have Villacamper in his sights, but Danny also with that penalty may opt to not go for it. Whoa, Carter Lundy again jumps to that inside line. I'm not quite sure why he does it. Maybe he has a big oversteer coming through that final turn. But either way, it's going to be difficult to look away from this pack of 3 for the remaining 4 laps.
Yeah, it is as well. I wonder if Carter's going to go once again. Maybe Norbert Jakob will go once again heading towards turn 3. Maybe the next lap. But Norbert Jakob's right on the gearbox of Carter Lundy then. How much ERS has Carter Lundy got? 16%. Norbert Jakob a little bit too further back. So maybe they're just trying to save their battery right now for the penultimate few laps, because you don't want to be burning too much ERS for the most of this race, because otherwise you will run out and you will lose too much power and electrical energy too as well. And yeah, I've got to agree, these 3 have been on absolute charge for majority of this race. Luke Smith has got Duncan Hoffman back in towards turn 4. No challenge for Duncan Hoffman there as Luke Smith is back up into 8th place. Another battle which we'll be talking about for the final few laps. They're probably going to be switching, but Luke Smith does have that 3-second penalty. Duncan does not, so that's probably why he's not bothered that Luke Smith has got past him, but surely he wanted a little bit of a fight then. Round number 4, I would say, between these 3 right now, as we've got Villar right. He's definitely under huge pressure right now as Carter Lundy going for the attack then. To the right hand side they go towards turn 3. Norbert Jakob right in the middle of this as well. A little bit of contact as well from both of these drivers. Carter Lundy running a little bit wide there as well. That could be a time penalty. We shall see. Carter Lundy though is fighting back. It's redemption for him right now as they head to turn 4, trying to go for the inside line this time. Can he make it work and get past Villar? Maybe. Heading towards turn 5 now, still going side by side, heading towards this corner. Carter Lundy gets the job done, up into 5th place. Wow.
Wow, talk about keeping a level head. He got a bit of a nudge from Jakob coming through turn 3 and managed to defend for the rest of the lap from the advantage of Manolo Villar. Great effort there from Carter Lundy. It was just a tiny, slight split second too late on the brakes for Jakob. But here we go again. 2 laps to go. And this battle just could go anywhere. To anybody, yes, Jakob is carrying the time penalty. Most drivers are. Here we go yet again. Villar on Lundy. Jakob are trying to deal with a pair of them. Oh, wasn't sure what Jakob was trying to do there. Almost trying to part the ways between Villar and Lundy. Now, Manolo Villar back ahead of Carter Lundy on the run down to turn 4. Lundy goes to that inside line, but is he going to banzai on the inside there? No, Norbert Jakob commits to the outside line, but can't make it work. You're running out of laps here, gentlemen. What are they going to do as Perroni now gets his name on the penalty board? Not that it makes any difference. Villacampa is too far back to capitalise on that. Danny is still a few turns behind. Duncan Hoffland and Luke Smith have swapped round in exactly the same place they always have done. They're both carrying time penalties now. I'm assuming that, well, Luke's is up to 9 seconds worth of penalties now. So a fairly academic end to that, I'm afraid. Final lap then here at Austria. Who is going to win out? It looks like the podium 3 might be set, but the battle for 5th is still raging on.
Yeah, it is as well. It's not going to be over until it's over. Norby Yak will probably stay in 7th position due to his penalty, but Carter Lundy wants that P5 as well. We got Danny Villacampa going for a move heading towards turn 4. Danny gets the move done quite nicely as well, but we'll keep an eye on to see how Carter Lundy does heading towards turn 4 as well. Will he go for a similar move, maybe? Yes, he does. This time he goes for the right-hand side line. Little bit of a touch as well. He looks committed to it again. Heading towards turn 5 now. Carter Lundy is up into 5th place. We got Thomas Ronhar about to cross the final corner.
And there he is, your winner here in Austria is the McLaren, chucks it into the wall in celebration. Thomas Ronhard takes the win. Pyrenees is going to take 2nd, and Danny will cross the line in 3rd, but due to penalties will be dropped out of the podium spots. Oscar Villacampa up into 3rd, but who's going to win out for this battle for 5th? It's going to be, with that great final move, it's Carter Lundy in 5th, Manolo Villar 6th, Norman Jakob 7th. Luke Smith did indeed stay ahead of Duncan Hoffland on the track, but with his time penalties, and there's another one. That's 12 seconds now he's got to the good. He's still going to be racing here next week at this rate, but gives it a wiggle, chucks it into the wall as is customary to destroy the car on the final lap. Tom Martinez, what might have been, tried to get the alternate strategy to work for him, but to no avail. Paris-Barrel we lost early in the session, along with Joost Noordijk, Ruben Pedreño, Andre Tarabukin, Vadim Svetkov and Jack Laverty, as Tom just crawls over the... Well, it's actually he's ghosted, so we lost Tom quite some time ago. Wow, yet again, Austria provides some incredible action. Driver of the day, Manolo Villar. Well, why not? That's based on where you start to where you finish. You had a pretty rough qualifying, but you cannot deny, yet again, the Dutch flag being flown proudly by Thomas Ronhar.
Another Dutch winner as well, because we obviously had Jarno Opmeer last night with a sensible victory. So 2 Dutch on top of the world at the moment. Jarno Opmeer was current esports champion. Thomas Ronhar, rising star at the moment in the esports team, esports scene, sorry. And any esports teams that are watching, any F1 esports teams that are watching, keep an eye on this guy. I have to say, he will be an absolute asset to your team. And just look at that fastest lap as well for him. The only other person to get the fastest lap was Luke Smith as well, 1:04.7. So shame he could have been up there, Luke Smith, if he didn't have a bad qualifying. But that is all. That is. It was a bad option, unfortunately, but he had a good recovery drive at least. But Thomas Ronhar wins again, and he extends his championship lead.
That he does. So before any stewards intervention, it is Thomas Ronhar from Simon Perroni, Oscar Villacampa, Danny in 4th, Carter Lundy 5, Manolo Villar 6, Norbert Jakob 7, Duncan Hoffland 8, Luke Smith 9, and Tom Martinez rounding out the top 10. We technically lost Tom Martinez with his car across the line in 10th at least. Then it was Burrell, Noordijk, Pedreño, Tarabukin, Svetkov, and Laverty. Are non-finishers of the race. Wow, what a round we have had. Let's get the holding music on, and let's see if anybody wants to come and have a chat to us, shall we? Because my goodness, it would be good to hear from some of our drivers. And yes, we have quite a lot of people wanting to come and have a chat to us. Oh yeah, I'm not sure we'll get to speak to all of them, but let's have a chat with some of our drivers at least. We've got to talk to our winner. It would be rude not to. Let's welcome into the box, Thomas Ronhar.
Hello.
Holy, you are just untouchable. The only person that can stop you is yourself right now, Thomas Reinhardt. You must be on top of the world.
Yeah, I think the race itself couldn't not gone any better. Pace-wise, very consistent. Maybe even better than yesterday, to be honest. Yeah, all I had to do today is redemption, to be honest. Redemption from yesterday. That was in my mind the whole race. And yeah, paid off.
I don't think you have many people that doubt your ability, Thomas, but Struth, if you wanted redemption, you certainly earned it. Was there any kind of worry when you saw it was going to be a wet start to the race, or were you still pretty confident?
I knew my setup was capable of the in these upper conditions. Wasn't very worried about it. Yeah, at the start, I think Simon and me had like equal pace at the beginning of the Inters. But then once the stint went on, I knew my consistency came into play, and managed to be slightly faster than Simon. But yeah, he drove a great race as well, so GG's to him.
Another win on the board for you. The championship is looking pretty strong for you. Is it a bit early to be thinking about the title, or is it just take each round as it comes?
I mean, anything can happen in the championship, you know, it's very competitive. This race has not been as competitive as other races, but I'm sure it will be a very competitive season in it. I'm not gonna make any predictions yet, but I'm hoping for the title, of course.
keeping it real. I applaud you for that. Any comments, Jess?
Well, we head to a new track next week, a track which not many people raced at. It's Jeddah next week, one of our new tracks on the game as well. How much practice have you put in this track already? Have you raced around this track before?
On Xbox, yes. On PC, absolutely zero. So I need to do some practice laps to get used to the track on PC. But on Xbox, I didn't do too bad, so shouldn't be ever worry.
Lovely. That's my questions, Chris.
Awesome stuff. Well, congratulations on another fine win, and we look forward to seeing your progress through the season. Thank you very much, Thomas Reinhardt. Who should we have next, Miss Ball?
We've got quite a lot of people in there. Some of them probably not shouldn't be in the box. They're not a driver, but let's get Duncan in. Let's get Duncan in. He was involved in quite a few battles today.
Let's have a chat with Mercedes' own Duncan Hoffland.
Oh, yo.
Well, you had constant company tonight, didn't you? You and Luke were having a great scrap for what must have felt like forever.
Yeah, definitely. We were having a road trip, actually. We were just enjoying the Austria circuit, and then at the end we were having a small fastest lap battle. So one of us was driving in front, and then the other one was saving ERS. And then the car behind was then pushing for a fastest lap, and then it was a challenge who gets the better lap time. And at the end, Luke won, so GG's to him.
Nice. Well, I mean, you got to have fun whilst you're out there. Can't blame you at all. So, what was your thoughts coming into Austria? Were you looking for a good result? Were you worried when the rain was coming? What was going through your mind?
Well, of course, yesterday I was having the Challenger series on the PlayStation, so different tracks and a different platform, of course. So yesterday in the night and today it was hard, pretty much practicing as much as possible to learn the track and learn the platform again. But yeah, of course, I was not as confident as the rest of the drivers who have like a week or something to practice for this track. So yeah, and then it was raining as well, and yeah, we didn't really have time for that to practice, so it was not ideal.
But you still gave it your all. Fair play to you for that one. Jeddah next time out. What are your thoughts towards the new track?
Well, it will be the first time racing for me around that track, so I'm looking forward to it. And I always like street circuits, so yeah, I'm excited for that.
Awesome stuff. Any words, Jess?
Well, you speaking about obviously challenges last night, which you did very, very well, by the way. So congratulations. I haven't really spoken to you about many people about this yet. How hard is it to go from practicing challenges on PlayStation and then a few hours later your mindset goes completely to be practicing for obviously this? How hard is it to adapt to the different platforms in such a short space of time?
Yeah, of course, it's really tough. I mean, I'm practicing like a week for challenges really hard, like every day, trying to go as fast as possible at those 2 tracks. And then after the challenger series, immediately switching to the PC and go racing on Austria. Like, it's really tough to make that switch really quickly and then again putting the effort in to go as fast as possible at this track as well. So yeah, it's tough, like I said before, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you manage it quite well. Still some decent points in the bag as well. Do you think you're going to get some more decent points this season then?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the season is longer than the calendar of the Challenger Series, so then I think I have 5 races left. So when I can fully commit on the PC platform, with quite some good tracks for me as well. So yeah, that should be alright.
That's all my questions for Duncan. Chris?
Awesome stuff. Well, good luck for the remainder of the Challenger races and also for the season to come. Thank you very much, Duncan Hofland.
Thank you.
One more driver I think we'll have a chat with, someone whose race didn't go quite so well. Let's have a chat with the ever-popular Joost Noordijk.
Oh, hello.
Did I catch you a bit unawares there, Joost?
Yeah.
Didn't quite go your way, I think it's fair to say tonight. Talk us through it from your side.
Nah, I had quali ban, so I had to start from the back of the grid, and then I saw it was raining, so overtaking is very difficult in the rain. But the start was really good, keep it out of the carnage, and then my screen just didn't work, or just the game didn't work, and I was stuck in the last corner. And then I had to restart my PC, and I couldn't get a new invite file, so I was getting lapped 2 times, I think. So yeah, and then I had no fuel.
Oh no.
Oh no. So pretty much everything that could have gone wrong did.
Yeah. But yeah.
Goodness me, that's such a shame. But you've still shown some really good pace. Was Austria a track you were looking forward to before tonight?
I had yesterday challenges on PS4, so, and I had school today, so I had, I think, no practice or for PC and for this track, so I already knew there was not a good track for me also, so and I had to start from back of the grid, so I was just hoping for some carnage, but yeah.
Fair play for you for giving it a try under those circumstances. That was that's dedication. I'll grant you that. But next week is going to be Jeddah. Hopefully, that's going to go better for you. Is that what are your thoughts towards the Saudi Arabian track?
That's a pretty fun track, and I can practice for that track. So I hope I can do well there, and I will try my best.
Any questions, Jess?
Well, after tonight not going your way, what is your focus now to make sure that your season goes a bit better than what happened tonight? Hopefully, less problems for you, less game problems for you, maybe.
I think every week when I don't have challenges, I can practice for the PC race. So I need to score the most points at that races, and the races after challenges, the day after, I just need some luck, and hopefully I need to make a setup in one day and just learn the track in one day. So yeah, it's just a bit.
I can't even do that. So, and you still manage to keep up with a lot of these guys in this league as well. So best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Indeed. Best of luck for the season to come. Thank you very much, Joost Noordijk. I think we'll wrap it up at that point. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on a fantastic show. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream and those watching post-event. You are always welcome here at PSGL. And of course, thank you to the wonderful Jess for keeping me on the straight and narrow and joining me here in the commentary box. Always a pleasure to be with you, my dear.
Yeah, it was the first time as well, probably, that we've been in the box. So hopefully, in the future, maybe we'll spend more time in the box. We don't know. Hopefully, we'll have Jacob next week. Hopefully, if he's feeling a bit better and maybe his PC is fixed. But we're fingers crossed he'll be back. If not, I will happily keep your company next week.
Wonderful stuff. Yeah, as mentioned, next week it is Jeddah, so a bit less familiar for our drivers, but it should be a wonderful race nonetheless. Please do come back to us for 8 p.m. next Thursday for the next F2 race. Until then, thank you very much, and good night!